Hi everyone, this is Mr. Al-Shahat. I'm a biology teacher for IGCSE. Today, inshallah, we will discuss together about the changes in our curriculum for biology O level, code 0610 or 0970. Our new syllabus, inshallah, will start from May-June 2023 to 2025. This figure refers to that this is the shape of our new syllabus. And this is also the cover of our new course book, of course, supervised by Mary Jones and Jeff Jones as usual. And this is the content overview. Approximately, there is no changes in our number of the topics, but we have some slightly changes. But before talking about the changes in our syllabus, there is no extreme changes in the our exam paper. Actually, there is no changes at all in our exam paper. We still have paper 2, paper 4, and paper 6 with the same techniques and also with the same weight in the whole papers. What are the changes in our topics? Alhamdulillah, there is no changes in the topics from 1 to 5 at all. But in chapter 6, which discuss plant nutrition, we have some slightly changes only in the greenhouse and enrichment of the greenhouse, like using fertilizers, carbon dioxide, light, and temperatures, and so on. Only this part removed from the plant nutrition. While in human nutrition, or as we usually said, digestive system, we have some changes like part which discuss the protein malnutrition diseases like marasmus and kwashiorkor, which kind of deficiency diseases completely canceled. Also the part which talk about the teeth. We still have the structure and the main types of teeth, but the part which talk about the tooth decay and taking care of the teeth removed. Also the part which discusses the cholera disease moved from this chapter to the diseases and the immunity chapter. While in transport in plant, there is no changes at all, alhamdulillah, but in circulatory system or transport in human, we have some slightly changes, like part which talk about the coronary heart disease is still present, while the part which discuss the surgical treatment of CHD, angioplasty, and bypass and others completely removed. Also, the last part in this chapter, which discusses the lymphatic system, tissue fluid, and lymph, also removed from this curriculum. Chapter which talk about diseases and immunity also have some slightly changes. Like, as I said before, the cholera disease moved to this chapter as a kind of disease caused by a specific bacteria, which is Vibrio cholera, of course. But we have a new small topic added to this chapter, which talk about COVID-19. But the part which discuss type 1 diabetes as a kind of diseases resulted from autoimmune disease, moved from this chapter to another chapter which discuss homeostasis. But chapter of respiration and gases change has no changes at all. But as usual, we try to use part from the drugs which discuss cigarette smoke and the diseases caused by cigarette smoke. We usually try to study this part in the gas exchange system and respiration, but this part is also removed from drugs, which means it is also removed from this chapter. And excretion and homeostasis chapter, both excretion and homeostasis joined together in this new syllabus, but one of the most important parts in our curriculum removed, which talk about kidney dialysis with its own all details, besides the kidney transplantation, also removed from the excretion chapter. The very small chapter which discusses the drugs also have some changes, like removing the misused drugs, completely canceled from this chapter. If you don't remember the details of misused drugs, these details discuss the heroin, alcohol, cigarette smoke, as I said before, and their diseases, also steroids. So only the antibiotic left in this chapter, and the antibiotic resistance bacteria as MRSA is still present in our curriculum in the drugs chapter. Plant reproduction has no changes at all, while the human reproduction have some changes, like part which discuss the development of the fetus removed, also the antenatal care also removed, the process or the steps of the birth canceled, the comparison between the breast and the bottle feeding also canceled. Beside the methods of birth control, or in sometimes we can call them as contraceptive methods, the 4 methods for the method of birth control completely removed. While the HIV or the AIDS disease is still present, but only the negative effect of the HIV as a virus on the immune system, only this very small part canceled, but still we have the HIV and AIDS in our curriculum. The fertility treatment, like using in vitro fertilization and also artificial insemination, moved from this chapter into another chapter, which has a title, Human Influence chapter, and still the concept present in our curriculum, but in a different way. The inheritance chapter also have some fine details changed, like some fine details for the protein synthesis added, and also the concept of stem cells moved from the autoimmune disease or moved from the diseases and the immunity to this chapter. Variation and selection chapter have also some changes, like the part which discusses the relation between the sickle cell anemia and the malaria completely removed from our curriculum. Chapter the organisms and the effect of organisms in their environment have also some changes. Part from this chapter discuss the nutrient cycle, like carbon cycle, water cycle, and also the nitrogen cycle. Only water cycle canceled from this part of our curriculum. Chapter which has a title, Human Influence in Ecosystem, also have some changes, like we used to study only the disadvantages of monoculture and livestock, but also advantages are added for both monoculture and livestock, which means we may find a question, especially in paper 4, ask you to discuss the advantages and the disadvantages for both monoculture and livestock also. But the details which discuss the pollution, like air pollution, also water pollution, have some details removed, like the negative effect of the acid rain, the nuclear fallout, and also female contraceptive hormones in water courses. All these details are removed. Besides also recycling of paper, glass, and the metals, and also sewage treatment, all these details are removed from our curriculum. But as I said before, the artificial insemination and the in vitro fertilization moved from the human reproductive system to this chapter in discussing the captive breeding program. While in the last chapter, biotechnology and genetic modification or genetic engineering, as we used to say, both two topics are joined together in the same chapter, and this is the last chapter. This is the end of our record today. Thank you for your time, and I hope you have a good year. Thank you, and good luck. Assalamu alaikum.